lights on. 15 minutes of racing in the PBS Brakes Hot Hatch Championship, which gets underway now. Pretty good start from the two on the front row. Again, Philip Wright rather sluggish away. He's not the greatest starter in the world, is he? And he is side by side with Stephen Langton and also with Matthew Mandapira there as they try to head into the banking. Mandapira in danger of losing the Class B lead to Paul Jarvis. Yes, he does, around the outside at the banking. So we'll try and pick up what's going on in the class situation. The lead overall is being held by Chris McCloy at the moment, though, from Joe Bauer in second place, Cameron Alder third, Philip Wright in fourth, and it's Paul Jarvis in the Class B lead in fifth position. It looks like David Drinkwater is leading in Class C as per.
Now that Paul Jarvis has wrapped up the Class B title, he's trying to get in amongst it, isn't he, early on in the race, unlike the earlier ones, I think. Phil Wright's trying to fight back here, round the outside of Cameron Elder to get third place, which he should manage. Yeah, and Jarvis is doing a good job here, isn't he? Fifth overall. His best overall finish this year was a 6, so see if he can beat that. And Phil Wright did make the move on Cameron Elder, so he's into third place, but the two older cars have pulled away. There's Jarvis in 5th, 6th for Langton, 7th for Mandapira. Then I think that's Anglesey has made a good start in the other Clio there in P8.
There's Wright and Elder then, so right ahead of Elder now. That is a change then. Through he's gone to third place, but the top two here getting away in the form of Chris McCloy, the Northern Irishman, and Joe Bauer in second place in the number 69 car for the driver from Hull. And third is Wright, fourth is Elder. Gap back then to Paul Jarvis in fifth place. He's got the Class A car of Stephen Langton, the Yoo-Hoo car behind him. Then it's the two Clios of Mandipira and Arguelles, who are second and third within their class, and some good scraps going on all the way down the order as usual.
And Trevor Gregory's going quite a nice number of places on lap 1, hasn't he? Up to 9th from further back on the grid after his problems so far this weekend. There he is, just going through. He's just flicked his wipers on there, so that's one of the first drivers that felt the need to do that. And there's Jarvis still keeping Stephen Langton at bay in a much more powerful car. Matthew Mandapira wants to get involved in this now in the Clio. So you've got the Citroen, the Honda and the Renaults behind, so a good mix of cars in this little battle. And up front, Joe Bauer, who I don't think done that much racing, had his first podium yesterday where he finished third, and he improved up to second this morning, and he's putting Chris McCloy under a good amount of pressure here.
Yes, he certainly is. So they're making their way through, and here's Paul Jarvis, the Class B leader, under pressure from the Class A Civic of Stephen Langton there, but he's not yielding. Isn't Paul Jarvis there? He's also got his class rival Matthew Mandapira just behind. Here are the leaders though, out of target and up towards the banking for the third time in this race. And McCloy and Bauer, who goes very wide there over the edge of the curbs and over onto the green concrete there, so that will be deemed to be exceeding track limits, so that may well be reported, and may well see him being shown a track limits warning flag if he does it again. Just got to be careful, especially in these conditions. If the curbs start to get wet and slippery, not advisable to use too much of them if you can possibly help it. They're up at Rockets in now. You can see Wright just nosing into the background as well. He may well be catching these two a little bit on this third lap of the race.
Well, the previous lap, Cameron Elder set the fastest lap on that first flying lap, surprisingly. So he's looking quick at this stage as well. But so really, actually, there's not much. It was only a 10th, wasn't there, between the four of them on best laps. So they're pretty evenly matched, these cars around here. There's Phil Wright trying to get closer to Bauer. He was a full second behind at the start of the lap. Similar, perhaps, as they come through to complete 3 laps of racing on the Anglesey Coastal Circuit. So the gap, which was 0.56, becomes 0.45 between McCloy and Bauer. Fastest lap was with Wright, so he was a bit quicker, 1:17.73. The next group now does have Stephen Langton at the front of it. Trevor Gregory's joined in, though, in his Class A car, so he's got himself between Matthew Mandapira and Joel Arguelles there as they headed into turn 1.
Yep, so that's Gregory in the black number 44 Honda Civic. He's had some trials and tribulations during the course of the weekend. It's a new clutch overnight, but he looks like he's going to get ahead of Mandapira, although Mandapira is resisting his challenge through Church, and has done so. He's managed to hold on to the position there, has the Clio, Matthew Mandapira.
Of course, Gregory had that big spin there in the earlier race. I wonder if that's just making him be a little bit more cautious at that part of the circuit in particular.
Locking up the wheels there was 177 car of Amanda Pera, but Greg was able to find a way through at that part of the circuit. You've got Daniel McKay there as well in the blue and yellow Fiesta. He's tucked into this little scrap as well now. So this really is 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th together. McKay in a Class A car getting ahead of the Class B car of Arguelles there.
You can see out the window at the banking, Paul Warren has pulled off. He was second within Class C in his BMW Compact. He's only a second behind David Drinkwater at that point, but he, not sure if it's an off or he's pulled off. He's a long way off the circuit though, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I suspect he's pulled off there, hasn't he? And Trevor Gregory now here under threat from Daniel McKay as well in the Fiesta. And that is a battle for class position as well, because they're both Class A drivers. It is nice to see the Fiesta out there and a welcome change from the Civics of various shapes that are filling the top 5 places, or actually top 6 places within that class. You've also got a bit further back, you've got the Lee Warren Ford car as well, haven't you? The little car with the big engine. Oh, and Cameron Alder has spun away 4th position there. He's going to get back on track before Stephen Langton catches him though. So he's not going to lose a place, but he has lost contact with Philip Bright and the 2 leaders.
Yep, that seems to be the case, doesn't it? As the wind continues to batter the circuit here. Chris McCloy, Joe Bauer, Phil Wright turn their way through the corkscrew. Phil Wright's got his wipers going at full track. There is Paul Warren, who I mentioned had pulled off, so he's was going well up to that point, but he's out of the race as the top 3 come through. How are the lap times at this stage with wipers on? They're about a second slower than what they were doing earlier. Now, obviously, we saw Cameron Alder have that off. I wonder if that was a slippery surface problem that he had. There he is. He lost 7 seconds in that spin. They're still ahead of Stephen Langton. There he is in 5th. Then the Class B cars behind. Paul Jarvis is still there ahead of Matthew Mandapira. What's happened to Trevor Gregory here? He has fallen behind Daniel McKay in the Fiesta, who the tradition this year is that Trevor would have been ahead, and he's got a problem, has he? Or is he getting cautious with this rain coming down? Because Joel Gaius has gone round the outside of him in the banking.
It's got his indicator on there as if he was trying to keep out of the way and indicating to the drivers that was the case. I wonder if Trevor Gregory is sort of trying to drive around a problem now and just wanting to alert other drivers to that fact, which would be the responsible thing to do. But yeah, he's losing a lot of ground to the car ahead, so I think he has got a problem and may well pull out of this race, which would be a sad end to Trevor Gregory's weekend.
And I think his aim is to try and finish 3rd in the Class A points this year, which he is in at the moment. He's a few ahead of Ryan Polly, but of course Ryan Polly not here, so he should be able to leave Anglesey in that position.
There'll be some traffic to deal with before too much longer. That's going to be the Polo of Warren Andrews. I think they'll get his car within the next lap or so. Good to see the Polo out there, an unusual car in hot hatch.
The rain starting to stream off our commentary box windows now, which it hasn't done before. The lap times have now gone out to 1.5 seconds off of what they were. And window wipers go in, wet rain on the lens of our camera as well there now. Chris McCloy under pressure here from Joe Bauer. Of course, McCloy's the first person to get to the corners, so he's got to try and guess really how much grip there is every time he gets to the next corner on the circuit.
Spinner down beneath the commentary box as well. That's the number 93 car from Class B. That's Charlie Hayes in his BMW Compact. You can see it there. He's stopped just short of the pit wall. We have seen cars spin into the pit wall in the past, and he's going to get back out into the race.
The start of the lap, Matthew Mandapira has got past Paul Jarvis to take the Class B lead, and they're side by side as they go uphill into Rocket, while we watch the lead battle, which is just as close into Peel, where Chris McCloy continues to be under pressure. There they are, the Class B cars side by side. Mandapira on the inside line, Paul Jarvis around the outside, which gives them the right line for the second part of Rocket. What battles these two have had this weekend. And Paul Jarvis goes through. 2 cars from different decades. But in this class system that 750 Motor Club has put together, they are absolutely level pegging really all weekend. Great to see.
And you can see that the 3 leaders have got past the Polo there of Warren Andrews. So it's a bit more traffic to deal with before the end of the race, no doubt, for these drivers, but not catching it in the immediate future. So still Chris McCloy, number 37, leading from 69 Joe Bauer, and 63 Phil Wright, lapping in the 119s now, so around about 1.5 seconds as you swaying, Josh, off what we saw in the earlier. So not full wet situation yet by any of the stretch of the imagination, but it is becoming more difficult, a bit less grip out there, I suspect, at certain parts of the track. Up towards Rocket they go. with this being lap 8 of the race. And they all follow one another through Rocket in, now through Rocket out. The second other yellow flags there. Oh, is that the BMW that stopped again, the one that spun with us?
Looks like it. Hayes, Charlie Hayes.
Yeah.
Which is another spin, perhaps.
And I've got a safety car flag coming out. There's the car that has indeed the Hayes car that's probably brought that about. It stopped up there between Rocket and Peel. Right, we are getting a green flag being made ready. So it looks like we are going to get one more lap of racing in. And to be fair, the safety car has done a good job of getting them back around again as quickly as they possibly can. So green flag flies, and we do get one more lap of racing in this PBS Brakes Hot Hats Championship. So it's Chris McCloy versus Joe Bauer. Big gap. Oh, and that's because there's the back marker there. And off onto the grass goes Matthew Mandapira up at turn 1. Well, let's focus on the leaders.
He got past Jarvis, just to mention, so it worked out for him.
He did, but the leaders are turning through the banking. There we can see Matthew Mandapira in the 177 car. He's behind Stephen Langton. The reason there's a big gap behind fourth is because the lap Polo was ahead of them all, and of course they couldn't overtake it until they got to the timing line. So it's Chris McCloy leading, Joe Bauer second, Philip Wright third, and Cameron Elder fourth as they head up towards Rocket.
Yeah, Phil Wright is the one who looks like he might make a challenge here on Joe Bauer. So the Class A champ. Phil Wright looks to the outside, but Joe Bauer doing a good job here. He's had a really good weekend at Anglesey, and he's still there in second place. He's got the road number plates on his Honda Civic as they climb the hill up towards Peel. It's very busy behind by the looks of things still, so the Class B battle still being contested, but we'll pick up on that in a moment because there's only the corkscrew to go.
Yep, and it's going to be Chris McCloy looking like he's going to make it a triple here at Anglesey Circuit. Down through the corkscrew he goes, Bauer behind him, then Wright. And the checker flag waves. Yes, 3 wins out of 3 for Chris McCloy at Anglesey in the PBS Brakes Hot Hats Championship. Second goes the way of Joe Bauer. Third to Philip Wright. Fourth to Cameron Elder. Fifth is going to go to Stephen Langton. Matthew Mandapira is going to win in Class B.
Looks quite happy.
He is very happy with that, isn't he? In the 177 car, he finishes ahead of 58 Paul Jarvis. And then it's Daniel McKay, who is 8th. Steve Harrison 9th. Joe Larguillo 10th. But David Drinkwater has come home to win Class C. 12th position overall. And that, we think, means a 4th successive PBS Brakes Hot Hats Championship title, which is quite remarkable. So, provisionally, many congratulations to him for that.
And it's a weekend, well, probably 24 hours ago, where it could have gone all terribly wrong because the water pump had failed in qualifying. The car was in bits when I went round at lunchtime, but they managed to source a part on mainland Wales at Bangor, and they managed to fit it, and he's had 3 wins. Yesterday's race was a little bit dodgy, he didn't win by very much, but today's been rather more dominant, and that is 13 wins in 14 races in Class C. But Chris McCloy, he's really been the man of the weekend, hasn't he? Never won before, and now he's won 3 races here, all here at Anglesey, and under pressure yesterday by Phil Wright and Joe Bauer today.